Howdy, friends! Welcome to a new episode of our fantastic auditory sensory journey to the heart of the magic and the story of Disneyland Paris. I can't hear you. I'll say it again. At the heart of the magic and the story of Disneyland Paris! Yeah, there we go. That's what we like. Joy, enthusiasm, expressions of exuberant delight. Oh, speaking of expressions of exuberant delight, I hope you've mastered this one. Yee-ha! Because today, we chuck on our cowboy boots, tip our Stetsons, and giddy up to discover Frontierland. Prepare to ride into the heart of a Western, the place where legends come to life, all with, no, not ranch sauce, magical Disney sauce. Waltzing ghosts, a train speeding through the heart of an abandoned mine, a saloon, and golden nuggets. Here each step is a discovery, each building a chapter from the history of the American West. And each cactus, well, is a cactus, but a very Instagrammable cactus. Besides, did you know the cacti here have been specially acclimatized to the weather in Marne-la-Vallée? Yes, I too imagine them wearing a little poncho when it rains. But they are actually kept in a greenhouse during the winter. Ooh, that sounds like my dream winter, one spent in the warm. Anyway, whether you're right here at Disneyland Paris, under a blanket on your sofa, with your head resting on your train neighbor's shoulder, or in the lotus position on a yoga mat, turn up your headphones and follow me on a journey like no other. Saddle up and welcome to Disneyland Paris. Welcome to Frontierland. Whoa, easy, Brownie. There we go. Trot, trot, trot. Okay, good. Just like that. Gentle. Yes, I came on horseback. I'm on brief. Thanks, Brownie. You can ride off into the sunset of my imagination now. The good thing about imagination is anything is possible, even riding horses. Come on, let's get back to our quest to the American West. We've just stopped at the end of Main Street, USA, on the left side of Central Plaza. Let's move forward slowly. The atmosphere is beginning to transform. The vegetation is becoming denser. Trees surround us. And, there it is, the entrance to Frontierland. You can't miss it. It's written right there. Yeah, there, right there, on the wooden panel above the large gates of Fort Comstock. I would like to take this opportunity to tell you that the name Frontierland is inspired by a term thought up by 19th century pioneers, that of the frontier, an imaginary border that separated the world they knew and the still unexplored lands of the American West. Please, don't think I'm making wrong turns down all sorts of sidetracks. These are golden nuggets of knowledge. You'll grow to appreciate them. Anyway, our tour continues. We are now passing through the gates of Fort Comstock. With its palisades and watchtowers, it stands proudly to protect the secrets and legends of the fictional town of Thunder Mesa. Yep, that's where I'm taking you. This fort is not only an imposing structure made of sturdy wood and massive tree trunks, it's a gateway to the past, a tribute to the pioneer spirit that shaped the American West. And for all you DIY fanatics, a rather impressive example of solid wood flooring. The constant creaking of the floorboards beneath our feet paints a picture of convoys of pioneers and adventurers arriving in search of their fortune. Inside the fort, a maze of passages invites you to explore. My advice, take the stairs, right there, on your left. Well, actually, let's take them together. And discover legends of the Wild West. An immersive journey through the history of, yep, you guessed it, the Wild West. As you wander around, you'll see scenes illustrating famous people and events from this period. And to make everything ring true, our magicians of the imagination, the Imagineers, carried out extensive research to make sure every little bit of scenery breathes history with a capital H. Thanks to a good number of larger-than-life props. So, history lessons are important, that's for sure. But what I loved doing most in class was staring out the window. Nothing beats a good view and some serious people watching. But I digress. Where were we? Oh, the most beautiful view in all of Frontierland. Walk forward on the fort ramparts, and would you look at that? A magnificent view of Thunder Mesa. To your left on the hill, you can see the unmissable and infamous Phantom Manor. We'll go there later. And yes, I'm scared, but I'm gradually building up the courage. In front of you, straight ahead though. Yep, there you go. There. These are the rivers of the far west, with flora and fauna. And in the center, sitting majestically on its island, the iconic Big Thunder Mountain. I'll give you 3 seconds to snap a photo of that view. Then we must make haste. Hey, you're not already out of breath, are you? Our tour has barely begun. Come on, let's go back down. Thunder Mesa awaits. No need to look for this town on a map. It won't be on it. At least, not in the real world. But here, in the magical world of Disneyland Paris, and only Disneyland Paris, does this town exist. Thunder Mesa is the beating heart of Frontierland. A mushroom town, like those sprouting up across the American West between 1850 and 1880. Mushroom? Yeah, mushroom. Meaning a town or city that grows rapidly. Not one that grows mushrooms. Check out the tracks on the ground left by the wheels of the carts and hooves of the horses that brought a passel of pioneers here in search of their fortune. Let's stop for a few moments in this large square, just outside Fort Comstock, so I can brief you a little on the history and exciting legends that make this land totally unique. And exciting! Did I tell you it was exciting? Right! Now we're all gathered around the campfire and toasting marshmallows. Let's begin. It all started with the discovery of a sparkling nugget in the neighboring mountain, Big Thunder Mountain. Why named so? I'm getting there. Hold your horses. The original inhabitants of the region know the secret well. This mountain is home to powerful beings. Among them, the most legendary is undoubtedly the Thunderbird, which watches over and protects the mountain and its riches. Beware those who, blinded by a lust for gold, dare to disturb it. And there we have it. The Thunderbird not only gave its name to the town, Thunder Mesa, but also to the mountain itself, Big Thunder Mountain. Well, that was another sidetrack worth waiting for, wasn't it? Where was I? Yeah. So, one sparkling nugget probably means several sparkling nuggets. And several sparkling nuggets means a crowd of gold prospectors who arrive at full speed. It's the gold rush. And the legend of the Thunderbird is forgotten. Very quickly, the Thunder Mesa Mining Company was born, and the town's population increased at an incredible rate. The company dug, stirred, extracted, sifted, and it made people happy. Most notably, Miss Diamond Lil, a highly respected resident who, after finding a huge gold nugget, opened her establishment, the Lucky Nugget Saloon, which very quickly became the place to be in Thunder Mesa. But be careful. In this town where gold once flowed freely, not everyone had fate on their side, such as Henry and Martha Ravenswood. Do their names ring a bell? Any idea? I'll tell you about them later. Yes, I'm mining some suspense. Until then, let's jingle our spurs a little further. To our left, to Miss Diamond Lil's place, the Lucky Nugget Saloon. Here we are in front of one of the most famous restaurants at Disneyland Paris. It has been welcoming visitors since way back when the park opened in 1992, which is also the year of my birth. Yep. Anyway, As I began to explain to you before we went off on another sidetrack, legend has it that this saloon is the work of Miss Diamond Lil, who was lucky enough to find a huge gold nugget. With her surprise fortune, she treated herself to outfits befitting a Hollywood star on the red carpet. And some dream trips too. One such trip was to Paris, where while enjoying a cabaret, she crossed paths with a certain Pierre Paradis, who became her French lover. Together, they had the brilliant idea of opening the Lucky Nugget Saloon in Thunder Mesa, bringing a touch of Parisian joie de vivre with the Lily's Follies show, which was performed here until 1996 and followed by many other shows. Today, the Lucky Nugget Saloon remains a must-visit for dining and immersing yourself in the atmosphere of the Wild West. As for the famous nugget that started it all, it sits proudly behind the bar, and believe me, it's the size that turns heads. I really recommend that you go through the doors of the saloon, because only inside can you appreciate the richness of its detail. Admire the stained glass windows, the period lamps, and especially the impressive mural that represents all of Frontierland located on the restaurant stage. No, we're not touching the nugget. Do you want to get in trouble with the sheriff for something thunderous? If, after leaving the Lucky Nugget Saloon, you find yourself wondering, now what's for dinner? Well, let me tell you two things. One, you must have the fastest digestive system in the West. And two, you're in Thunder Mesa, which is heaven for foodies. So no problem, there are many more rooting-tooting restaurants for you to try. For example, on our left, we have the Last Chance Cafe. Yes, its name sounds a bit like a warning, like, come on cowboy, it's your last chance to chow down on a real good Wild West meal before a shootout at nightfall. And for those who are short on ammunition, know that the emblematic counter of the place is worth a look and makes it a well-known stopover for the town's inhabitants. Then, just a few more steps away, we come across the Silver Spur Steakhouse, a fancy place to celebrate a successful gold rush with the best steaks in town. Don't miss out, make your reservation on the Disneyland Paris app. And did you know, these three restaurants have one thing in common? Apart from bringing joy to my stomach, they actually each represent a precious metal sought by the pioneers. Copper for the Last Chance Cafe, silver for the Silver Spur Steakhouse, and of course, gold for the Lucky Nugget Saloon. Come on, our tour continues. What is... yes, of course. This is perfectly normal. We're approaching the house that makes all of Thunder Mesa shudder. There, on the hill. It's Phantom... excuse me. Phantom Manor. A haunted mansion that occupies a primordial place in the story of Frontierland and in the hearts and souls of visitors. Seriously? Gotta be kidding. Remember I mentioned these names earlier? Henry and Martha Ravenswood? Well, they are the owners of the mansion, and their family story is closely linked to the legend of Thunder Mesa. A family for whom the expression, "till death do us part," takes on its literal meaning. Story time! To put it simple, Henry and Martha didn't really take the legend of the mountain seriously, and they completely ignored the Thunderbird's omens of vengeance, because what they craved was gold. Gold, and more gold. Which they managed to amass by the mine load. So much so that they could afford to build a sumptuous mansion which dominated the entire town. 4 floors, unobstructed view of the river and the mine. Perfect! Oh, and they had a daughter too, Melanie, who really wanted to get married. Her father was firmly opposed to any future union. Given his character and particular relationship with happiness, we're not surprised. Yet a marriage was planned with one of no fewer than 4 suitors. Then, by sheer coincidence, or well-considered revenge by the Thunderbird, a terrible earthquake rocked the town the day before Melanie's wedding, and Henry and Martha Ravenswood perished. Yes, we've had happier times, and still, it gets worse. Despite this double mourning, Melanie decided to continue her nuptials. Probably because she had already booked the band and the 10-tier cake. Well, that's what I think. But then a slightly shady figure, half man, half skeleton, showed up at the manor. And as luck would have it, the 4 suitors all disappeared under strange circumstances, and therefore never showed up at the wedding. Melanie will have to wait and wait and wait for her love forever lost. Talk about getting cold feet. I'd be shivering. But who was the mysterious figure? Was it Henry Ravenswood? He certainly seems to haunt the place, even to this day. The building has fallen into disrepair, and Melanie, as well as all her guests, remain forever locked in the manor, suspended in eternal waiting for a fiancé who will never arrive. As you may already understand, everyone is free to indulge in speculation and form their own interpretation of past stories and the mystery surrounding the Ravenswood family. What is certain is that you have before you a storytelling gem, and I can only encourage you to dare enter through the gates of Phantom Manor. At the entrance to the manor's grounds, you see a plaque bearing the name of the attraction. At the bottom is written, Non omnis moria, a Latin phrase taken from the Odes by the poet Horace. It means, I shall not wholly die. We couldn't have dreamt of a better welcome. The tone is set. As you take the path that leads you to the large front door, take a look at the garden's gazebo. Once elegant, now in ruins, and covered by wild vegetation. As you approach the manor after dark, perhaps you will see the light of a candle flickering behind a window, dancing from one room to another. Melanie? Melanie, is that you? Eerie sounds float all around you. The wind whistles. All of these elements set the perfect scene for the reception that awaits. I won't reveal anything more, but know that the manor hides walls that seem to stretch, a very special crystal ball, a spectral waltz, and 999 nuggets of knowledge that'll haunt you forever and ever. When you leave Phantom Manor, if you leave, take a little walk through Boot Hill Cemetery, located on the small hill which overlooks rivers of the far west. Here you'll see that the mystery continues when you reach Henry and Martha Ravenswood's tombs, as well as an unmarked green sarcophagus, which seems to vibrate as if it contains a beating heart. Could it be Melanie's? The other graves display epitaphs full of fun and visual puns. Clever black humor skillfully conjured up by our friends the Imagineers. Boo! Now, time for some calm, far away from ghosts and earthquakes, at the water's edge and the rivers of the far west. Les Rivières du Far West? Okay, whatever. Ah, that feels good, doesn't it? A little aquatic ASMR for you. We owe it to the pioneers of the time who crossed the immense plains in search of gold and new beginnings, who put down their bags and built these towns on the banks of the great rivers. Think of the Rio Grande in New Mexico, the Sacramento in Northern California, or the legendary Colorado River. The rivers of the far west is a tip of the hat, Stetson, to this era when river culture was king. And also the opportunity to admire sublime and totally immersive landscapes. And what could be better than a steamboat ride to dive even deeper? Continuing along the river, we arrive at the Thunder Mesa riverboat landing right across the street from the Silver Spur Steakhouse. It is from this pier that you can board the Molly Brown, a vintage paddle steamboat that will take you down the river. Everyone on the bridge, here we go! Full steam ahead! During this loop around Big Thunder Mountain, look out for geysers, waterfalls, an old fisherman who doesn't fish much anymore, and even smugglers' caves. Imagine the eroded plateaus of Monument Valley, the tall trees of Yellowstone, the canyons of Arizona. Let yourself be transported by this unique cruise. On board the Molly Brown, you have the choice between 2 decks and cabins for your observation post. And the captain has just confirmed that spring and summer are the ideal seasons to enjoy the lush vegetation that borders the river. In the autumn, it's a festival of red and gold in the trees, perfect for those #NoFilter selfies. And winter? Landscapes in glossy postcard mode. We can even see corners of the lake where the water has completely frozen. I hope this cruise has given you a welcome moment of calm. Because now, the pace is about to intensify. Heartbeats are going to accelerate. It's time to head to the climax of Frontierland. The most iconic mountain in all of Ile-de-France, more than 30 meters high. An emblematic ochre color filled with thrills, it is of course Big Thunder Mountain. You were waiting for it. I was waiting for it. It's happiness, adrenaline. It's an unmissable attraction because why walk when you can hurtle down a mountain in a runaway minecart? Big Thunder Mountain, which we also call Le Train de la Mine, or BTM for the most fanatical gold prospectors, is an unmissable attraction at multiple Disney theme parks. Yes, you can find this roller coaster in California, Florida, and Japan. But our version is the only one to be on an island and have such a rich story. Because Big Thunder Mountain, just like Phantom Manor, is completely embedded in the legend of Thunder Mesa and the entire story of Frontierland. Remember I told you about the earthquake that shook the whole town? Well, just after that, the gold mine closed. For obvious reasons, it was too dangerous, and the mining company ceased all activity. So, an abandoned mine? Does that intrigue you? Want to have a peek? Of course you do! Today, the mine welcomes only the bravest souls. Those who dare to board the carts and venture into the heart of the mountain. That is to say, us! But be careful. The Thunderbird is never far away, and we know how unpredictable it can be. And that's what we like. First, you'll enter the Big Thunder Mining Company and take your seat on its runway train. Be sure to hold on to your hats, because you're about to plunge down a tunnel under the rivers of the far west. There is so much to tell about Big Thunder Mountain, so much to observe, that we should devote an entire episode of Magic Ears to it. Or 2. Or maybe 3. I'm up for it. I just need to check my availability. Did you know that to maximize the realism of the adventure, most of the props and decorative elements in the queue, for example, or near the entrance, are authentic pieces of mining and railway equipment? Take a good look around you. The Imagineers traveled through 16 American states, mainly in the southwest of the country, in search of objects from the Gold Rush era. They searched like never before to guarantee us Disney Cali authenticity. We're almost in a museum. One of the most beautiful pieces you'll see is a steam tractor, which came straight from the state of Missouri. It was purchased in 1992 and transported to France by boat. Did you spot it? For the record, because there's always a little story at Disneyland Paris, the sale of this tractor allowed its former owner to buy his wife a wedding ring, which he could not afford to buy beforehand. Isn't that too cute? Isn't that magical? Okay, before you rush off to hurtle around the mines over and over again, I just want to let you in on some little treasures you'll love in Frontierland. Like Casa de Coco, Restaurante de Familia, right in front of the entrance to Big Thunder Mountain. This is a Mexican cantina that invites you to dive deep into the enchanting music-filled world of Pixar's 2017 hit, Coco. It's a spot not to be missed in Frontierland, and above all, it's the first restaurant in a Disney park that pays homage to Coco. When you arrive, you will come face to face, nose to guitar, with a bronze statue of Miguel, which shines brightly. Impossible to miss, whether in broad daylight or under the stars. Inside, there are paintings and objects that celebrate the story of Coco. Sounds that subtly mix traditional music and melodies from the film. And then, burritos! The best burritos! And if after all these adventures, the call of a live show tickles your fancy, head to Frontierland Theatre, a little outside of town, near Cotton Creek Ranch. Hold up! On your way to the theatre, you'll probably detect a delicious smell of grilled meat. This will be from the Cowboy Cookout Barbecue, one of the largest restaurants at Disneyland Paris. Tuck in, enjoy yourself, and don't hesitate to try a square dance or a little medicine. Yee-ha! Anyway, back to Frontierland Theatre. This building is imposing. A vast wooden barn, reminiscent of a sawmill. The integration of such a building into the story of Thunder Mesa, only enriching the narrative of the land. When I talk to you about the importance of stories, I'm not joking. And you'll witness some powerful stories here, as they come to life before your eyes with breathtaking settings and performances that thrill. This is the spirit of Frontierland. Total immersion in unique stories, where every attraction, every restaurant, every show contributes to an unforgettable experience. In Frontierland, every guest is a character in their own western. On foot, on horseback, by boat, or by hurtling down a hair-raising drop, here is proof that well-told stories in a well-made setting have the power to touch, to inspire, amaze, and transport. Friends, it's been a pleasure exploring the American West with you. My boots are dusty and my suspenders are yawning, but it was worth it. Brownie! Sorry? Oh, no, I'm not gonna walk all the way home on horseback. It's too far. I need to rest my imagination. I think I can make it to the RER. Come on! Brownie! And don't forget, Frontierland is waiting for you to write the next chapter of your story. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like it or leave a comment. What other gems have you discovered? I'd love it if you told me. Thanks again for listening. I look forward to seeing you again for our next audio adventure at Disneyland Paris. Until next time, partners. Yee-haw!